Well, we're coming to conclusions, so we will just do like a 5 minutes question, 5-10 minutes, and then we conclude Satsang. We lost one. V is she's still flying here. So, any question? Any question at all about what we talk and?
Vibration, but controlling thoughts is so hard. It's one thing to have right speech, and another thing to do right actions, which I think are more important than speech. My weakness is trying to figure out how to make my thoughts ascend to a higher vibration.
That's
my problem. I can't figure. Why, not why, but how can I? I think you said from chanting and meditating and such, but I wanted to.
I will elaborate on that. That's a great question. Did you hear, John?
Yes.
Yeah, it's not about controlling your mind. You cannot control your mind. And just the words you use already, if I may correct you, you say, this is a problem. There is no problem. You see, again, it's changing how you speak. Because you said you think your actions are more important than your words, are more important than your thoughts, but they're not. Because it all starts with the thoughts. First comes the thoughts, then comes a word, and then it will come an action. Action don't come first, thoughts come first.
Right, I was going backwards, but my understanding what my problem is.
No, it's not a problem. You don't have a problem.
That's right.
You don't have a problem. No, it's you have a little challenge.
The challenge is what I struggle
A little tiny one.
with, the thoughts.
Yeah.
Because if I think something, I don't have to speak it, I won't speak it. And if I speak it, I may not act upon it. But so the thought is the kernel, the germ, I understand.
But thoughts is an intelligent energy that goes into the universe. Thoughts are as powerful as action. So there's several ways, and I'm so glad you brought up that question because I touched on that, but I did not elaborate enough. I will elaborate more. And it's not something you can just do in 1 second, you know, this is a lifetime practice for some people. What I was saying earlier, and I'm going to clarify that, there's 2 ways to go. Actually, there's 3 ways to go about that. It's always about stealing the mind, and you can really steal the mind. I can tell you because my mind used to be like a monkey. When 25 years ago is like, I was so hyper. I was like, but I was completely rewired. You can rewire your brain through Kundalini ascension. So a lot of purification needs to take place to make leaps and bounds with that. But to get there, there is through sadhana. Sadhana are spiritual practices through Kriya Yoga. What I would invite you to do is to be empowering to those practices because it will help you make a distance from your mind. You can make a distance from your mind and you can also train your mind. So when you said the word control, I will rephrase it. I would say, how can I train my mind? And you can train your mind. Like right now, it's imprinting a new samskara because the shift will always happen within yourself, all the time. And again, by using your magic wand says, okay, oh my God, I'm aware, I'm mindful. I just said the word problem. When you use the word problem, you're creating a lower frequency, exactly. Because you make it bigger. And if you keep focusing on that, like you said, oh, I'm struggling. And then you go to your best friend, I'm struggling, I'm feeling depressed. And you keep reinforcing it, and you're sending this in the universe, and then you go around, but you're not mindful, right? I'm not saying you're doing that, but let's say hypothetically, you are unmindful that you're into this habit of saying that I cannot control my mind, I'm struggling, I'm depressed. And then people ask you, oh God, life is so imperfect, I'm struggling, I'm like feeling so depressed. My mind is like, I can control my mind. And then I have a big problem, and then you are just amplifying this huge problem. And then suddenly you send out in the universe, and the intelligent energy says, okay, there's a big problem here. You created it. You see what I'm saying? But if you start paying attention, you go back to your breath, remember? You go back to your breath. When your mind is spinning like crazy and you hear like the jabbering says, I'm no good, I'm not worth it, I don't deserve this, stop it. You tell your mind, you shut up. You go out the door. And you go back to your breath and breathe in and call upon your own divinity, call upon the spirit.
That's a key thing right there. Call upon your own divinity. That's a great idea.
It's not an idea.
I mean practice.
But it's true. You can recenter yourself through your breath. Because I'm not joking when I said when you breathe, you're breathing God. I have seen prana with my own eyes. It is the most beautiful thing. It will blow your mind. It's unbelievable. I'm just going to talk about when I saw I was at the Tree of Life. I was doing a fast, a green juice fast, and it had been 8 days. And I was in the room, and I was meditating, and I opened my eyes. The whole room was illuminated, and a light, very ethereal light I've never seen. It was like, they were like snowflake, like beautiful, fluffy things, and they were flying all over the room. And it was incredible, a light I've never seen. And when I was breathing, I could bring them in, and they were going into, I don't do drugs. No, I don't drink either. So in case if you think that, it was real, what I experienced. And I was breathing it, and that's when I realized you're breathing an intelligent energy that is the life force energy prana. It's the supreme intelligence. And within you is a divinity. And I talk about that in Becoming the Light. My book, you read it, right? I don't know if you read the part of the blue pearl. The blue pearl is within each of us. It is a very powerful mystical experience. When I saw the blue pearl, all of us, we contain the blue pearl. And within the blue pearl, there is all the cosmos, all the deity, the supreme intelligence is right within. That's why we say that God is really within, you know? And so, you don't need to control your mind. The more you will try to control the mind, the more you will fail. Instead, train yourself to become mindful. Train yourself to come back to your own divinity through the power of your breath. So what you do, you stop. You can even have a gong. I stop. I used to do that a lot, stop. And those are mindful practices. Zen practices I learned from Thich Nhat Hanh. You just stop and you close your eyes, and I say, I am home now. I return to my divine presence. I reconnect with my divine presence. And then feel your breath going up and down your spine. Breathe and let go of the tension. Consciously release the tension in all your body temple. And when you bring new prana and new oxygen like that, you will notice that your mind will start calming down. So that's one aspect. I teach all of that in Becoming the Light Mastery program. And in Radiating the Light, there is Siddha Satchit Ananda meditation, which is a Kriya Yoga meditation. Kriya, like I briefly touch on that. Kriya is an action. You work with the prana. You learn how to control the prana. When you control the prana, you can connect with the flow of grace of Mahashakti for Kundalini ascension. And when Kundalini ascension start happening, this is when purification start happening. Purification of a lot of garbage of past life, of even samskara of this life. In time, more and more you will start gaining more and more mastery over yourself. But it requires diligence, perseverance, and patience. So you see, there's two ways. Training your mind through alertness, through mindful practices, and you start gaining more awareness. And you will see, Christopher, when you start doing that, you will start realizing, oh my God, I didn't know I was so unmindful. You'll start seeing, you'll have a shift. Remember, the shift happened within you. Nobody can do it for you. No one. And when you take that responsibility, that's why you gain tremendous power. And then you reconnect to your divine presence. Always return through your breath in your divine presence. And then I hope eventually you'll join Radiating in the Light, because you would benefit so much. Because this sadhana really, it's like burning a candle at two sides. It helps. And this is when you start making the distance from a mind that is agitated, because a lot of karma start falling off. A lot of samskara start falling off. And then you gain more mastery over yourself. And remember all the tools we talk about today to empower yourself. We have discussed many things. I know it's a lot in one evening. This is a lifetime practice for some people, and a lot more satsang on that, a lot more teaching on that, because it's a full night. I didn't go into all the detail on this, because ultimately self-realization. Oh, I know why you couldn't hear my voice. I just realized that. And my microphone does not always work well. I think sometimes this goes out. I'm glad you made that feedback, John. But just to finish, that is, yeah, there's a lot more to go deeper on that subject. Is this helpful?
Very much so, thank you.
Any more questions?
I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead, Vin.
I want to know, why did you call in Jesus when you were suffering? And I'm just curious as why you didn't call in like a female deity.
I love that question also. Did you hear what she said? Why I called Jesus Christ when I was agonizing from the anaphylactic shock reaction to the chemo? Because it was the Holy Week. It was right before Easter. It was right around Good Friday. I was born Catholic, but I don't practice Catholicism. But I always had a deep, deep connection with Jesus Christ. I always loved him, but I never saw him as what religion portrayed him, because when I was born, I knew, and it was an inner knowing. I knew I was a child of God, that the Supreme Intelligence was my Father. So what Jesus says, me and my Father, he was referring all of us, me and my Father, and that religion made Jesus Christ a completely different thing of who he was, because it's been said throughout a lot of research that Jesus Christ actually went into India and meditated there, and he was a master himself. You know, a Christian might not believe that, and I respect that. It's not a question of believing or not believing. I have the highest respect for anyone who follow any kind of religion. The only thing with religion, though, is very exclusive, because a religion, if you don't follow that religion, then you're not a child of God, you know. But in spirituality is beyond of the physicality of this realm, and so it encompassed and embraced everything. So to me, I knew that when I was a child, that I grew up in a religion that I didn't believe in religion, but I loved Jesus Christ because I knew there's something special about him. I had the connection. Maybe it was karmic, but so to go back to originally when I was dying from an anaphylactic shock reaction, I remember in that moment when he was on the cross, suffering, because that's what I was feeling. It was my crucifixion. And I remember how he called upon his Father, which is my Father. I didn't call Jesus Christ for him as God. I call him as an avatar, as a spiritual celestial being, so to speak, you could say, or because ultimately Jesus Christ is God. Like you, V, you are also God. Ben is also God, because we are a wave in the cosmic ocean of divine love. And when you realize who you are, there is no difference between me and my Father are one. That's what Jesus Christ says, me and my Father are one, and is our Father and is our Mother. But his presence was very, very, very powerful, because in those days, I also work with Shiv Gorakshanath Babaji. In those days, I mean, he's still very much in my life in so big way. Shiva, probably in the biggest of anyone, Shiva is the Adi Guru. He's my, ultimately, he's my guru. But I remember that, I don't know where it came from, I can't remember, but it's been said that Jesus Christ worked very much with Babaji Gorakshanath. He's very much alive and still very active in the world. Because there's a lot of ascended master out there that most people, 99.5%, they don't see. They're kind of invisible, but they're very active. They are a Maha-avatar. Like Shiva is a Maha-avatar, and they work to help to for us, for our evolution, for all of us to expand consciousness. And it was very intuitively that it came, and it was my own divinity calling him. That's what it was. I was like so far gone that what occurred in that moment was truly my spirit calling Jesus Christ. Yeah. Any more questions? Okay, I think it's time for samosa. And I have some prasad, and I'll make some tea if you want some tea. Jai Mahadevi. Thank you for being here. Before you go, let's take a deep breath. Hold on 1 second. Let's take a deep breath together. The last breath. And just go back to your breath when your mind is like a monkey, you know? Just go back and chant, I am home now, as a gatha, as an invocation. I reconnect with my own divinity, and I hold my inner power. Nothing can touch me. And see the light coming through you, Saraswat, Christopher, and see it going through your spine, and practice that every day when your mind goes crazy. And become conscious of that light coming through your spine. As you breathe, going up and down, and say, I'm home now. I am a child of God. And within myself, I have everything. Everything, nothing can touch me. I'm always protected, and I'm so loved. And I radiate divine love to all beings. Om Namah Shivaya. Okay. All the praise goes to the Divine Mother. So I hope tonight when you go to bed, one last thing, when you go to bed, just inhale God and turn yourself upside down like in a course like we did tonight, and then invite your own divinity to breathe through you and see that light, and fall asleep consciously on your breath and say, I am divinity. And fall asleep with those thoughts and chant Om Namah Shivaya, Om Namah Shivaya. I always fall asleep chanting Om Namah Shivaya every night. And you fall asleep consciously with your breath. I will see you at the next satsang. Jai Ma. Jai Ma.